Homage to all the Buddhas, homage to all the Dharmas, homage to the Bodhisattva ancestors. The theme of this week, while talking about the teachings embedded in the week of Jukai, both the everyday life part of Jukai and the ceremonies, the theme is hearing. I purposefully use the word hearing. The sound of my voice, the sound of the gongs enters your ear canals. Allow that to happen now, and when you get up in your day, those of you who are here in this room and those of you who are listening at home, bring your awareness into your hearing and do nothing with it. Just allow it, the sound, like the sound of the gong, to fade, the sound to fade, and any aspect of your minds that connects with the sound to fade too, fade as well. I've quite purposefully got as many sound instruments as I can find in the monastery, so that we have a good variety, sharp, melodious, big gongs, little gongs, tinkly gongs. So, many of you will have heard meditation instructions many times. The instructions for Zazen. Zazen is foundational to our practice, and I'll be going into why that is. However, for the moment, let's just arrive. We've all arrived at our sitting place and taken a pause, getting ready to stop for a specific period of time, marked by a gong, a sound, which sounds and then fades. Again, helping one to still oneself. So here we are sitting physically and connecting mentally with where we are supported. Our physicality is supported by the ground. Typically this will be sitting bones. You'll feel some pressure there, a sensation of pressure. And wherever your hands rest, you will feel the backs of your hand that do have a sensitivity. Maybe your forearms also. And as I'm speaking, just bring your attention to the points that I'm pointing out. And beneath your feet is the ground, or alternatively, it'll be your backs of your feet, the tops of your feet you'll feel that sensation of pressure. If you're lying down, which is perfectly acceptable, the pressure will be experienced and known along the back of you, head, backs of shoulders, backs of hips, and your feet. Now the sensations coming into your awareness from your physicality locates you in real time. We'd say here and now. And the well-worn phrase, or 2 words, present moment. That's a bit of a misnomer in a way. Whilst unifying, helping yourself to unify body and mind, and pausing, it helps you to settle, and it's good to settle, to deliberately take some moments as you get to your place to do that. In a way, it helps the molecules or the cells of your body-mind to let their dance find their place and at rest, really. Now, as with Jukai, coming to Jukai, so coming to your sitting place just now. It's a long and twisting and turning road that's brought us back to here, sitting on our seats. As we sit, the breathing, the breath rises and falls, perhaps slowly. Form simultaneously empty. Simultaneously here, what we like to call the present moment, or in real time, it's gone. In a sense, existing and not existing. This is spoken of in the scripture of great wisdom. Form is only pure, pure is all form. It doesn't say simultaneously though. Could do. So in a heartbeat or a blink of an eye, body-mind, here, now, here, gone, body-mind, no and, just body-mind. Body-mind dropping off, as Zen Master Dogen says. There's the ability to die while sitting and standing, transcending both peasant and sage. You might say transcending individual peasants and sages, transcending our sense of being a separate individual. Body-mind. And that's while remaining very much alive. Goodness, we're not going to go to sleep here. Very much remaining alive, vital, aware, present. Shakyamuni Buddha, son of the Shakya clan, sat beside the flowing water of the river Naranjana in India. He placed his begging bowl, representing himself, in the water of the river, and instead of it being carried on the tide of the flowing river downstream, the bowl was carried upstream. The current of the river, common sense would suggest, would carry it down and out into the ocean, the ocean of life. We could say the world of duality, samsara, the world we do in fact live in. Returning now to pay attention to ourselves, our body-mind. I'll describe what's called the backward flowing method, which instructions say to practice quite deliberately, very deliberately, at the beginning of a meditation period, once the bell is struck. It helps turning us back within, up the back and in to ourselves, as against down and out. So, as I describe this, you can do it with the inhalation, the in-breath. Follow with your mind's eye the breath going up the back of you and over the top of your head, and then on the exhalation allow the breath to flow down your front. We'll do one. Each breath moving in a circle, helping our mind to quiet and bringing ourselves into ourselves. Then after 3 quite deliberate breaths, turning the breath, we allow a long, as it says, we allow a long breath to be long and a short breath to be short. In other words, we leave our breathing to get on with breathing. Breathing does itself actually without our conscious help. And it is to breathe with your lips closed and breathing in through your nose, lips closed, air flowing in through your nose. And you may notice a little cooling in your nostrils as the air comes in. Sometimes it seems that at the bottom of the out-breath, the in-breath takes, sometimes it would seem, an interminably long time to arrive. I know I've thought, is it ever going to come? And of course it does come of itself. And this is quite a natural phenomena. The important thing is, as with sitting, so with daily life, to refrain at all cost from holding your breath. Just sitting, Zazen, has a unique place in our day, since it is the only time we deliberately physically stop and decide not to do anything deliberate. in our minds or in our physicality. It is a rare opportunity. For many, it is almost so rare to be unreachable in terms of finding that time and place to stop. We approach Zazen with great formality, really. We treat what we sit on in the room and each other with great reverence and respect. And I think this all points to the gem, I have to say, of what we unknowingly come to know, or touch. I think touch is a better word. I'm going to read you some words written by one of the senior monks of our order. Although our minds are fundamentally clear and at peace, fundamentally clear and at peace, because of illusion, this original mind is obscured. Illusion persists because the causes of illusion persist. When the causes of illusion cease, illusion ceases, and enlightenment is touched. However, the ceasing of illusion does not cause enlightenment to arise. For unlike other things, enlightenment is not an effect brought on by previous causes. Fundamentally, like silence, it neither has nor needs a direct cause. And in some instruction I received recently, enlightenment itself can set up an idea so pervasive that enlightenment is an opposite, and enlightenment is something that is needed to be walked past, touched and walked past. Our minds are fundamentally clear and at peace. And whilst sitting Zazen, thoughts and images will arise, and the river of life, the undercurrent of our functioning, is benign, accepting, compassionate, kind. The river of life flows. We move. Physically, our minds move, they have to, in order to function. And the flotsam and jetsam of our words and imaginings are indeed self-created illusions, having no reality, though one can certainly be fooled by appearances. And I should say here the illusion is the how can I put this into words? Words are not easy. leave it at illusion. The backdrop of illusion as to the truth, yes, the truth, no separate individual selves, which is really what marks Buddhism out from, and what the Buddha, what made Buddhism Buddhism really was his teaching of anatta, no separate self, when in Hinduism it was a separate self that was taught, Atman. So the backdrop of illusion as to the truth is as the flowers in the river. Really? Bobbing up and down beside us. And there is a reason for alluding to illusion as flowers, but more of that when later on in the week we'll be looking at Sangha, contrition and conversion. So by placing our bowl and all that it contains, ourselves, on our seats in Zazen, we unknowingly join the Buddha on his mission to discover the cause of suffering. There he is, squatting beside the river of everyday life, watching his bowl float upstream. It is said that this event predicted his awakening, his enlightenment to the truth and becoming Buddha, an enlightened one or awakened one. We teach that he was already awakened, as we are already awakened. It's just that we don't realize that. Waking up is one thing. Getting up and carrying that awakened into daily life is quite another thing. So one last point before we get up and get on with the next thing. So at the start of a meditation period, or as we call it Zazen, there is a conscious decision we alone can make, and it is actually foundational to everything we do, to make a deliberate decision that we alone can make. You could call that a commitment. You could call that a commitment, a vow, a promise. All of those words apply. In Zazen, we make a commitment and a deliberate decision to stop, to really stop, and allow ourselves to quieten for a specific period of time, marked by the gong, as I've said before. Then just sitting, becoming Buddha, becoming Buddha. Not a becoming something in the future. And within the becoming, it implies even there is movement. Not a forward or backward, a movement going, it's a movement really going nowhere. I refer to this movement when I'm trying to describe that as ongoing flowing. It seems to describe sitting. Stopping doesn't engender stasis or paralysis. There is an ongoing flowing. And let's face it, Zazen defies logic. And yet people are attracted to the practice. Here we are, many years later. So there must be something going on that brings us to formal meditation. And I'll give you a little story about pretty much the first time I sat down here in Zazen, settled myself. Followed the instructions. I can actually see the bricks in the wall in my mind's eye right now, and I remember in my mind thinking, oh my goodness, this is really serious. It is profound, lifetimes changing. And with that, thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing.